Revenue is just, it's all flash. You can have a business doing 100 million in revenue and losing money. So if you're a new seller, don't even approach some medium-sized brands. In this industry, there's a lot of over-promising that happens. And that's part of the reason why brands say no so much. You can make money in arbitrage, but you're not building a business. What's up, YouTube? This is Dan, 1000 ASINs. I'm here with my student and now coach of ECG, Kenny. We're going to talk about how 2025 went for my business, maybe some goals for 2026.
So let's talk a little bit about 2025 and how to go. Did it meet expectations, or were you blown away by your expectations? What does it kind of look like for you?
Yeah, so my goal for 2025 was to go to $30 million of revenue. 2024, I did about 20. So I had the goal to grow about 50% and hit 30 million. And happy to say we pretty much achieved that. On Amazon US alone, I think we're going to land at like 26, 27 million. And then the other channels we sell on are making up the gap. So that's Amazon Canada, our Shopify website, eBay, and Walmart. Those are our other channels, and a little bit of wholesale too. So that comprised the other, 3-4 mil. So I'm basically going to be right there in terms of revenue. But revenue is just for show. It's all flash. You can have a business doing 100 million in revenue and losing money. So that's just part of the picture. So the whole assumption with, growing revenue is that you maintain or increase your profit margin. So, 24 was actually a pretty bad year in terms of profit margin for me. It was the lowest I've ever had. It was around 6% with my salary added back. This year, I think we're going to land around 7 or 8. I actually have to look at the final numbers, but so not only did we grow revenue, we grew our profit margin, which was actually more of a notable win than just the revenue growth. So happy to say we did hit that.
Would you say the lower profit margin was due to like growth because you were growing at the time and you weren't really seeing the benefits of it?
Yeah.
And it put you in the position to now see increased profits?
I think it was a combination of things. So one was dealing with like a whole new set of Amazon fees we didn't really know how to react to.
Yeah, that was all the placement fees and everything.
Yeah, placement fees, low level inventory fees. Like there are a few new like taxes from Amazon essentially that like can eat away at your margin if you're not careful. So our old philosophy with inventory was just like everything that comes here, shove it to Amazon, whether it's 3 months of stock, 6 months of stock, didn't matter. But now that we're more aware of like Q4 storage fees and storage fees in general and long-term storage fees, we're a lot more careful to send like smaller quantities more frequently.
More strategic placements and everything.
But that also makes it difficult sometimes to like get inbound shipping efficiencies, because usually when you ship more, like it's cheaper per pound. So just juggling all that stuff.
How many brands did you secure in 2025, and is it still viable? Like brand direct is still working, right? Like,
yeah, it is. I'd say literally every week or two, there's like a new opportunity with a new brand. So we are having no problem getting brands to work with, and whether like they're profitable or not is another story. Sometimes we'll get price lists, they're not profitable. So even if a brand agrees, like sometimes it still doesn't work out, but we have no shortage of, we call it like coals in the fire. So like, we have a lot of things pending that have a lot of potential. And we're not seeing much of a slowdown in terms of brands wanting to work with us. Of course, a lot of them say no, they're all set, but a lot of them are saying, yes, we're open to it. And I feel like 25, a lot of players like are getting washed out. Like, if you don't know what to do and how to approach brands, it's very easy to get discouraged. And I think there's going to be long-term, probably like less big Amazon sellers, and those that have figured it out are going to have ample opportunity to work with a lot of brands. So
I think there's a difference between people who really want to like obviously we kind of pitch the, grow your brand or maintain your brand and we'll handle everything from there. I feel like there's a select few that really want to like see the brand do better versus just like, okay, I kind of, fooled them into working with me.
Yeah.
Now I just want to sell their product type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. There's in this industry, there's a lot of over promising that happens. And that's part of the reason why brands say no so much. It's like they've heard the same song and dance a lot of times before. Like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we can help you out. And then they open the account and then like, they buy products and sell products, so they don't really do any of the extra stuff to help a brand actually grow. So I think that's the key differentiator. And I'll admit that even my own business, we did a good amount of that, where it'd be like, we can do these, and then when we got the account, we actually didn't. These days, I mean, that usually is not going to fly anymore. Like, you have to prove your worth. And so I have a whole offshore team now. And that was, I guess, talking about 2025, that was a win. So we hired multiple people in Europe that used to work for a mega seller. So they had a lot of knowledge on like how to do, like, really optimize a listing. So now we work with brands and we have meetings with them and be like, this is the creative we did for you. We have like a full 7 image stack for you to look at now.
A+ content, stories, everything.
Yeah, and like we've revamped your title and SEO. And by the way, here's our advertising expert. He sent, the ad report for like how the campaigns performed, the biggest opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. They see all that and they're like, okay, this is legit.
This guy was not lying.
Yeah.
You acquired a company. Now you're starting to see from the brand's perspective. What have you learned so far with that?
Yeah, that was definitely another win and loss. So like I bought a brand. It took a lot longer than I thought to like get my Seller Central account up and like get the brand registry all sorted. So the products have been stocked out for like 2 months, which is like definitely an L because you lose ranking, you lose some of the momentum. So that's a loss. But the win part of it is it's up and running. The first inbound shipment is up there, and now it's gonna be really cool that I can truly approach literally everything from the perspective of a brand owner because I am one. There's probably some things I haven't even thought of like that we're not offering the brands we work with. Not having the direct experience of really owning and caring about a brand ourselves. So I think it's going to be really valuable, and something really cool I think that I'm going to make for members of the program is I'm going to like basically show my brand as a case study so everyone has access to look at it and like the exact performance, and we're going to take it from like an okay brand to a great brand. Because what I bought, I mean, there are a few listings, they sell like 1,000 or 2,000 units a month, and the packaging's okay, the listings are okay, but there's a lot of like room for improvement. So what I'm going to do is actually use these case studies on like what to do and like get everyone's input and like kind of work on the brand together and then document how I did it, how to do it. And then for all the students that join, they'll know like the exact playbook on like taking a brand from like okay to great.
What do you forecast, going into 2026? What are your main concerns? What are you like happy about? What's going on?
Yeah, for sure. 2026, I want to further, revenue and profit growth. So 27 million, I think, is what we'll land at this year. I'd like to hit 35 for Amazon US, and then maybe total 40. So it gets harder and harder to have like the hyper growth the bigger you get. So I want to set a fairly reasonable expectation, but still healthy growth, like 20, 30, 40%. And then I am in the process of getting an SBA loan, which that will really make a big difference to like my cash flow. And I mean, really, I have the growth all like laid out for me. Like I have enough products to buy to grow. It's mostly like a capital and cash flow constraint. And once that's solved, I think I can grow at a pretty good clip. And the cool thing is my margin should go up and up and up because all this like overhead and infrastructure, which dragged down my margin for a while, I'll finally get like the payoff from that because I think we can scale without really changing anything. Like I don't need additional hires, maybe like a couple more people in the warehouse to just process more products, but our overhead's kind of fixed at this point. So the bigger we can bring our revenue with the same operation, like my net margin is going to go from like 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 to 11, 12, whatever, as we get more efficient and like the overhead becomes less relevant as a percentage of revenue. So
and have you been able to cut out different things that like, or slim down on some stuff?
Yeah, like
I'll
review. Yeah, like at the end of the year, I do like a thorough review of every line item on the P&L, like and where we could have like been more efficient. Software tools we're using, like do we still want to use them? Are we getting our money's worth? Maybe supplies, like
a better box supplier.
So like we try to trim like as much fat as possible because in this business, like in Amazon, everything matters. Like because you get squeezed from Amazon like every which way. There's a lot of fees and there's a lot of costs associated. So if you don't look at everything carefully, I mean, those little like 1% like margin sucks can like keep going and going to the point where you're like breaking even. So like everything matters.
And do you think in 2026, like for newer sellers, what do you think the best game plan is? Because arbitrage is getting harder and harder.
For sure.
The products are still there, but it's like, can you sell them? Can you make money on it?
Right.
What do you see for a newer seller?
Yeah, for a newer seller, I would look to transition into wholesale, and it doesn't have to be like drop arbitrage, like drop what you're doing and then switch. Like it can be like a smoother transition. So what I did personally was transition to wholesale from arbitrage over like 2 or 3 years. Like I had some arbitrage product lines that were profitable. So I'm like, why would I stop these? Like it's like fairly stable, profitable. So I'm gonna do this, make money while I can. But then I saw the writing on the wall of like where the business was headed. So I slowly phased it out. So to arbitrage sellers or new sellers out there, I would say, yeah, I would make the switch or start just in wholesale directly. Doesn't necessarily have to be brand direct immediately. It could be like working with local distributors, like, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 POs with a local distributor. There's still distributors we work with in the New England area that like are still great relationships. So, and then in terms of brand direct, like, yeah, you can do it. You have to learn the skill set of like how to work with a brand, how to help a brand grow, how to fix their listings, how to talk to them. Fortunately, that's all stuff we cover in our program. And you would approach the smaller brands. Like you're not going to go to Sony, Apple, Samsung, Nike and get brand direct. Not possible.
Yeah, like you run into people who are like, I've been trying to get Dove for 5 years now.
It's like, bro, come on.
Good luck, dude. Yeah, keep trying.
Yeah. So if you're a new seller and you've got, let's say, 5, 10 grand of capital, don't approach those companies. You don't even approach the medium-sized brands, like, because even like medium-sized ones that we work with, like they expect you to cut 6-figure POs like every month with them. It's like if you don't have that, like just skip over that. But the good news is there's brands that are extremely small, like all the way up to extremely big. So you just have to find the right size for you. Like, so maybe a brand with 5 or 10,000 of revenue a month, profits 1 or 2,000 a month. That's the perfect size for like a new seller to go after. It's going to be a small company. You probably can talk to the owner directly. They might just be like a one person operation, or they might have the team of 5
operation.
And then it's more about like the relationship building. It's like you can demonstrate, you can like help them, and you're good to work with, and can order their products. Then there's still so many of those brands that are going to be like happy to work with.
They're appreciative too.
They're a new seller.
Whereas if you're working with slightly bigger ones or medium, they expect a lot more from you in terms of like, if you're not buying their inventory, why are they working with you? Like, oh, I need an extra 3 weeks to purchase. They're like, no, dude, this is, you know, we talked about this already. Like, this is your 3rd time asking. You're not meeting our expectations in terms of ordering.
So yeah, exactly. So for the new seller out there, I'd say, start with the small ones, work your way up to bigger and bigger brands and bigger opportunities. And the opportunities are still out there. Like, I think there are like less Amazon sellers out there these days. I've felt that it's actually a little less like hyper competitive.
So let's talk about Miami for a second too. What have you seen and what did you not see come up with the move to Miami in your business?
Yeah, so that was a big change, working like completely remotely versus working here with my team. But I'm proud to say that like the team can pretty much operate without me. It's like we have a few different layers of management in the warehouse here. So we have like, you know, the line level person doing mostly prep, and then we have multiple warehouse leads and managers doing more of like the computer work, printing labels out, making sure everything's accurate. And then we have an overall manager, like, you know, overseeing all that. So there's like multiple people, like hierarchy, that can just do all this stuff without me. So I never have to come in here and like prep a unit or like book a shipment or anything. So like, and then as for my like front office staff, like the buyers, account managers, etc., they also know what to do, and like we can just meet virtually. So I haven't experienced any like any challenges like
that
working remotely. We do a full company meeting to like touch base with like the offshore team and everybody. We like all get on the same page, talk about what we're doing this week, like and like, you know, we can always just get on a Zoom call. Like that's kind of the way the world is now, like a lot of remote work, you know. So
that's a big concern for like a lot of sellers, is like, okay, if I get to that point, do I trust people? Like exactly. I know you've talked before about like it was hard at
the first
like,
hire is the hardest.
Like,
I was terrified to make the very first hire.
And
like,
I'm approaching that spot where I'm like, okay, do I hire somebody?
Yeah.
Do I even have to
do? Prep products. Analyze products, buy products.
Contact, like whatever.
People are capable of a lot if you just let them. So the more like help I have, like the easier it is to actually trust them. And that's actually something in the program that I talk about. Like we do calls every now and then just about scaling, like the art of like scaling, delegating, like systems for doing that. Because I feel like not a lot of people talk about the specifics of like specifically how to hire and scale, what the like org chart looks like, who does what, like how to document processes, all that good stuff. So
You know, when you're in this business, surprisingly, it gets easier and easier.
yeah,
Like it's a
Sure.
repetitive process. Yeah, you have to search for more places or more distributors or et cetera. But once you get into it, it's
I
copy
completely
and paste.
agree. It's like, yeah, I characterize this business like the first account or two are like pretty tough. Like you've got to grind for like a couple months and like really experiment and like figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And then once you've had a few, then the sales process becomes like way easier. Like the less you need accounts, like the easier they are to come. It's like you have an absolute abundance of
Yeah.
accounts coming in because like the more legit you get, like, and the more of a reputation you get, the easier it is to get. But the way to do that, you have to like go in the trenches for a while.
In terms of comparison of like starting OA or RA and just figuring out Amazon versus figuring out wholesale, they're pretty much hand in hand, right? It's the same amount of like effort. It's just what you put in time.
Basically, I mean, yeah. So like OA, you still have to learn like profit calculator, how Amazon fees work, how to read a Keepa chart. All that stuff is the same with wholesale. So like that whole part of it is completely the same. I'd say it's like 80% overlap. And then the only difference is like OA, you might get some like quick wins, like, oh, here's a lead you can buy from like Target and sell. So like you do get the experience of like buying and selling, flipping a few things, seeing how that works. Whereas wholesale, like you might have to make some more contacts to get an account that works. That's the only difference. But like the overall skill set you have to learn is like identical.
Like I feel like if I started out again with no Amazon experience and I just went into like, if my focus was wholesale, I feel like it would be just as hard as starting OA and RA.
Yeah.
Like starting from scratch, if you just put your time and energy into that one thing, you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have the willpower to, go through all those losses and the no's and the headaches, but
yeah,
it's
definitely.
the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You don't see it coming, but you actually get to learn so much more from this side of the business than you do with OARA. It's
Yeah.
your skill of just flipping
I
products.
mean, it's building a real business versus flipping products.
Yep.
I mean, that's like you can make money in arbitrage. I did for a while. Not against it, but you're not building a business. You're building like a hustle. You're basically couponing. You're staffing discount. You're an extreme couponer. Basically,
You're a hustler. It's just a hustle.
Which great.
Which it works.
It's
It's good.
But,
It's good.
But yeah, if I'd say for anyone listening like that wants to actually build a sustainable business you can maybe sell someday, you can't do that with arbitrage. You just can't.
Yeah.
So you need wholesale or private label. But yeah, if this conversation was intriguing to you, you wanted to learn more information about how to do Amazon wholesale the right way, you can click the link below in the bio and schedule a call with one of my team members, and we'll go through exactly what we cover in the program, which is, in my opinion, basically everything you need for like complete success. Just ask Kenny. He was a student a year ago and is now making like multi six figures. Schedule a call. We'll see if we're a good fit. And thanks for watching.